Good morning. This is Kelley Hobart from Alpaca Direct, and I'm here with Sydney. See how big she's getting? She's getting to be such a big girl. She's my little buddy. Can you say hi? She's all stressed. All right, Sydney, you could be a free girl. Go get them. She's my little helper. All right, so today I wanted to go over this wonderful pattern that I have and what's cool about it. And let me show you what it is. It's a sock pattern, and I will leave the links. You'll see I have my my yarns in a baggie just to control them for this actual event thing. But I just put them there. But do you see how cool it is?
Maybe turn it on the side so they can see the texture.
Yeah, right. Do you see it on the side? Yeah. Do you see how the cables are on the front? And look on the inside. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. I'm going to, Jim. I just got to turn it. So if you look on the back here, there are no floats anywhere. It's nice and smooth. The fabric it creates is it's stretchy, but I think it's just about right. When you're doing this pattern, maybe use one needle size up from the needle size that you normally do. But again, it's so beautiful. And this is a free pattern. And if I look at it here, it's from Michelle Leanne Martin. And I don't have the actual, I don't have a finished picture of it right in front of me. But
chart like how you want it out.
Yes. So this is the chart that I'm working on right now. You see? And what it signifies is the front of my sock has 33 stitches on it. And so what I did is I marked one of the orange lines going down the center is at 10 stitches. And that's where my stitch markers are. And so I have 2 stitch markers, and they're placed right at these points. And so then I can knit along doing my cabling or slip stitches, and I can keep track really easily because I have those 2 stitch markers there. And so that's just a little trick for you. And then if you do this kind of work, so it involves 1x1 cables and slip stitches, and you knit 1 round in your you do the cabling in the orange color. Like on mine, the cable part is in orange, and so that is what I've highlighted the orange. And then the other one is done in my stripy yarn, which doesn't show up as much. So on mine, when I was envisioning these, I was just using scrap yarn, and the orange was actually from a project that it was Madeline Tosh. It's a nice sock yarn, but I wanted the stripy color to show up more, and because I chose the orange as my main color, that's the color that showed up more. So if you're choosing colors and you want to do this sock yarn, which is called Get Along, and we'll have Meg write a link for you so that you can do this if you want to, because it's a great way to do, like I said, something similar cables. Let me show you this other little sample that I did. It's this one. I did 2 of them that I was kind of playing around with. And if you see right here, there's cables. But the traditional way is it interlocks on the back. You have to interlock with each time you change a color, you have to interlock the yarns. So right here would be an interlock, right here would be an interlock, right here would be an interlock, right here would be an interlock. And if you don't interlock it, you have holes in between your cables. So when I saw this technique, the cables are a little bit thinner, but you don't have to interlock anything. And instead of having fabric that has little, looks like this, you get a fabric that looks like this. So when I did these 2 socks 2 at a time, and this much knitting took me 2 days, okay? If I was doing this technique in this much knitting, it would take me a whole lot longer. So I wanted to show you this because it's so cool. And Leanne Martin has some really nice patterns, and they're a free Ravelry download. And she has a bunch of sock patterns, and some of them are free and some of them are paid for. But you can see her different. This was the little pattern that I was following when I just made this little swatch to make a diamond. But
Hey, Kelley, lots of people coming online. They're
good
saying
morning,
hello.
everyone. So what I'm talking about here is I'm talking about doing 1x1 cables and doing slip stitch pattern that is super easy to do. And it gives you this, it's like multi-dimensional because the cables are sitting right on top of stockinette stitch. And it looks beautiful. And so I was very excited. I had never done it before. So I wanted to show you. When I first looked at the chart, I'm like, oh my word, maybe this is going to be too hard. I mean, harder than something I want to take on at this time. But no, it's not. Oh, before I get started to show you the exact technique, she's fine. She's fine, Megan. I mean, Madeline. Okay, so for this last week, we had some... this is Madeline Tosh sock. Actually, it is, Malabrigo sock. And we have the Anniversario colorway and the reflecting pool colorway. And what was the winner for this last week? Do you know, Jim?
It was the blue.
This was the blue color. Really? That's cool. Okay, so the winning color, little Sydney is helping us out here this morning. She's running through the wires. So this week I was thinking, why don't we try some Millie Calori Baby? And this is a, if you look at the tag here, it is superwash merino wool, and it would make nice socks too. It would make something nice for if you wanted to do something more striping on it. And it's by Lang. Top quality yarn. And you guys choose whether we should do the pink one or the blue one. And do you see? It's 100% superwash baby merino. It's a single ply yarn. It is, I believe it's a spray dyed yarn, so it's a little more symmetrical than the hand dyed would be. But a very nice, in meaning that it could repeat the stripes nicely, you know. So beautiful yarn. So you guys choose pink or blue. And if you want to enter to win, all you have to do is post comments in the comment section. And if you do win, then all you have to do is call customer service at Alpaca Direct and give us your shipping address. And the lucky winner for today is going to win this lovely yarn by Malabrigo sock. I use this yarn a lot of times. It's really great yarn. So let's take a look and see how cool this technique is. Also on this pattern, if you look on her website, the pattern actually has one repeat. And a lot of people were saying that socks were a little bit too short. And so I did 2 repeats. So of course I can never leave well enough alone. So when I did mine, I repeated, started number 1, went all the way up to 39. But when I got to the 39, I didn't do any of the center section. All I did was the diamond section part of it. So where the cables, where the edges were, that's what I did. And then I had to hop down to number 3 and take everything out but the everything out but the parts that I did were the slip stitches and where the diamonds were again. And then I just went on and did my pattern. And it worked out great. So I repeated it twice. So anyway, if you want to lengthen yours, you can always do that too and make it longer. Because a lot of people said they wish they had it longer. And so I made mine longer to start with. That's the beauty of reading the comments and from the wonderful knitters out there that have actually done the project already. They can help you out. If there's any things that are things you need to know about the pattern, the other knitters are so wonderful, and they let you know what issues they came up with, or if there was something they changed that made it look better. You can look at their project and say, is that something that you want to do? And then you just follow what they did and you get the same results. It's fantastic, which I love. There's so many things that I love about knitting, but that is one thing that I really enjoy about knitting. Or other knitters are so willing to help each other, right?
Mhm.
So it's totally fantastic. So now let's just look at this traditional way. If you wanted to, say I had this little, let's move this one out of the way. Well, I could show you on this one. Say that I wanted, well, these are, okay. Say that I wanted to take these cables and make them go one that way and one that way. I go on the right side of my work. Now on here, when I did this, each, technically, if you're doing this kind of cable work, you need to have little bobbins of yarn. And one bobbin would be your gray yarn, one bobbin would be your pink yarn from this right-hand side, and then this side would have another bobbin of pink yarn. They don't have their own, it's not just one. Otherwise, it zigzags back and forth, and that's not the way that you want it to look. I just did that for the sample because I did. But you're not really supposed to do it that way. This is just a sample so you could actually see what it looks like. So if you were going to do that and you wanted to go ahead and knit over to where that section, so I would knit right to where I want to move this over, and then what I would do is this one needs to go in, do a right. It needs to twist right, and that other one needs to go to the left. So if you take that stitch, and some people might be afraid to do that, but anyway, that moved it one to the right. And then you would pick up your, I had just finished knitting with the gray yarn, so that goes up and over, and my new yarn comes from underneath, and you see that it's locked into position now. Now I can knit 2 stitches with my pink yarn. Now you say, what do I do with the gray yarn? Now I'm ready for a gray stitch, right? So the old goes over to the left, and the other one comes from underneath, and then you would purl that one. Now, what if you're going to move this one stitch to the left, the cable that way? So you could take this one over to here, and then what you need to do, actually, can I just drop that off and leave that like that, and then put these back on?
Why did you do that?
And then what it's doing is move the cable over to the left. Instead of actually cabling with the cable needle, you do that instead. And then you just work them. Now this one, I did one silver one. Now I need to go to that pink one. And the pink one comes up and over to interlock again. So then I would do 2 stitches in the pink, and then guess what? I need to interlock again. So the pink comes up and over, and the gray comes from underneath. And then again, I would purl these. And then let's take a look and see what we got on the back. So that's normally what you would do with your cables. And if you got a bunch of cables, that can be extensively, it's time consuming. And like I said, this one should technically have its own bobbin, and this one should have its own bobbin. So if you're doing a bunch of cables like this that are going all over the place, you're going to need to add yarn because you can only make your bobbin so big. Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot more work. So then I saw this technique and I'm like, what is this? I have to figure this out. So let me show you how cool this is. Let me see if I can get this out of here. And can I just throw this under here? Let's see. I'm gonna, sorry, Jim. I'll just throw it on the ground for now. I'll pick it up in a second. All right. So then I gotta take these out because I need a little more yarn. And you'll see, I put them in these sandwich bags because it tames the wild child so that they're not running all over the place, getting tangled up. And you can see even now, they still got tangled up, and they were untangled, but then they got tangled. No, they just, when these needles get moved around, they just start going in different directions. And then you're like, oh my wonder, what a pain. Anyway, okay, so let's look and see if I can get this. So on here, you can see on here that I just did that number, this one. let me show you. I just did this one right here. So I want to work 2 rounds and show you how I do these socks using the magic loop method and using the 2 colors to create these lovely little 1x1 cables. First of all, you can try and keep the yarn separate, but it doesn't mean that it'll happen. Let me take these ones out. But it's so cool. I love this technique and I want to be able to use it over and over. So you work 1 round. I just finished round number 41, and then I'm going to be doing this 42. And that one is using my orange colored yarn. So if that other color is in the way, we just move it out of the way. And then we put this orange one through. And then on here, we would have, it shows on your piece of paper that I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to be making a 1x1 right cable. So I would hold my working yarn in the front, work that stitch, grab from behind, put that back on. And that's the beauty of doing 1x1 cables without a cable needle, is you only have 1 stitch to worry about. And so it is pretty easy. So, and you can just take your fingers and kind of pinch your work so that you can. So now I just did that left, and then I have 2 stitches left in my orange, and then this orange line is part of this center. That's part of the center 10 stitches. And so on that one, it is, I just am going to move this stitch marker over, and then I have a right cable, and it's a right 1x1 cable, and you'll see me doing that one. And then we have, that was completed. And then we have 3 stitches. And then we have another right cable. And let's see what else we have. And then we're going to have a left cable. Okay. And when I'm pinching, I'm kind of was pinching the needle to hold the stitch there. I'm not actually pinching the stitch. And then I need more yarn. All right. And then I'm on my last little section, which involves 3 knit stitches, and then a right leaning, oops, 1 second here. That was 2, because if you look here, this orange one is part of the center, and I only had 2. So you have 2, and then I slip that next one, and slip that, and do that right leaning cable. And so that cable is complete. And then I have 2 more stitches. And then I have a right leaning cable, and get in the back there and hold it in the back. Put that back on there. And then I have a left leaning cable, which is just slip 1, knit 1. And be very careful when you're sliding your stitch off and back on. And then we should have 1, 2, and 3. So there's that one. And then, let's see here. Oh, this is kind of a mess. All right, so we got orange. Then I do that same exact thing. And we got 1. Someone was asking me before about this first stitch. If you hold your needle to the back, and you see I'm taking my index finger and just grabbing onto that yarn and just holding it so it's not getting tighter. 2, 3, 4. Then I don't have any ladders on the side. It won't create ladders. It's nice and smooth and nice. But if you don't do that, if you don't let the needle fall to the back, you could absolutely have some ladders. And so that little trick will prevent you from ever having ladders. If you have that problem, it's annoying, and that's how you fix it. All right, and then I'm going to do a left. And there you go. And a 1 and 2. And then slip that marker, and we're going to do a right. And there you go. Bring that around. And do 3. 1, 2, and 3. And a right. All right. And a left. And today is Jim and my anniversary. We've been married for 36 years. Isn't that awesome? We are going to go out to dinner tonight and celebrate our wedding anniversary. So awesome. Yes. It seems like a drop in the hat for you youngsters that are out there. Enjoy your life, please, because it goes by so fast. It goes by so incredibly and fast. Whenever you get a moment to stop and reflect upon what you're doing and just take a moment to enjoy the moment, it's always a good idea because, boy, that time went by really fast for us. Don't you think, Jim?
Yeah, sounds like we were just there as kids.
Yeah. Something. Anyway. So you just see I'm just one by one cabling along. And then, all right. Then I turn my work. And you see the magic loop method here. And I just hold where that last stitch was. Be very careful that you don't grab the wrong cord, because I have pulled my work right off the needles before. And if that happens, you got to get it back on. And it's not very fun. I don't know if any of you have done that before. Have you guys done that before? I have. When I was first knitting socks and didn't know how to get my stitches back on the needle, that's when I did it.
What are you showing now?
This, I'm just doing the backside. Okay. Yeah. And then I just want to show them how easy. I'll just do a bit of the other side when we get to the next round, just so you can see how easy it is and how much fun. Yep. So we got a right. Usually where there's a right, there's a left. Yep. And just hold that tight. And 2. And then something's pulling a little bit for me. I don't know what that is. And right. I think I have some stitches that are getting caught on the edge of that bottom of that cord. Sorry, sweetie. I have to just pull my work up a little bit so I can see it. See, they're getting caught right there. You go. They got caught on that edge. And then we go 1, 2, 3. And then we go a right. And these are just 1 by 1 cables. Isn't that cool? I love it. And I love the back of the fabric, how beautiful and clean it looks. For socks, it's ideal. And just think of all the different pictures that you could draw using this technique. Isn't that cool? I love it. Yeah. Right up my alley, huh, Jim? Yeah. Learning something new. Oh, and you guys, wait till you see the picture I want to do for next week. I'm going to make mittens out of it, and it's a picture of a bird. It's really cute, but since spring is right around the corner and the birds are starting to be coming out and chirping, it's really fantastic. Perfect project for that. And that project was done flat, but I don't even care. All I'm going to do is use the chart. I don't need her instructions. I can just make a mitten, no problem. I just need the picture that I like. Yep. And somehow I got off. So if you get off on this, and this one was 2, and then a right. Oops. Yeah, I did a right, and then 2, and then a right, and a... Oh, I see what I did. I needed to do a left right back there. Let's see. So that one was a right.
I didn't interrupt
and
you.
then it's... Oh, no, it was me. I'm just horsing around. Oh, honey, you're an angel. You're fine. Jim always photographs everything, and he's so patient. as I'm horsing around, and that turned out perfect. Awesome. So I got a little bit of knitting done today. I'm excited about these. I'm kind of short on yarn because, like I said, I'm using the leftovers out of my stash, and I'm trying to empty out the cupboards, right, Jim? I'm trying to be really good and use some leftover yarn that's been sitting around for a while. And anyway, I have been using up some yarn and getting some cute projects on top of it. And I love this technique. Wouldn't it make beautiful gloves? I'm like, ooh. Am I in the way, Jim?
No, just
yeah. Okay, 1 second. I just have to finish this. Let me just knit these. I'm just gonna knit these so I can get to the other the end of the round and show you, and I can always go back later. Doing
What are you doing now?
I just wanted to show them how easy the slip stitch pattern is. So you use the orange color for one round, and that means 4 sides, both fronts and then both backs. And then what you do is you're going to pick up your other color. And keeping in mind, when I do my next project using this technique, I want to use like black and white or something like that. Sorry, I snagged my yarn. Because having that contrast, actually what color I was hoping to stand out was this color. And then it turned almost all orange. So I didn't want to put the cable part in multi-color because I thought it would look funny. But anyways, I don't know. When I do my next one, I think like black and white would be cool. And the designer does say that it's a good idea to use, if you choose one of these, don't choose any of the colors that are in here. And I chose orange because I happen to have orange. But anyway, it just made it the more orange show up in the pattern. Do you know what I'm saying? So it would have stood out a little better. So now let's just take at the very beginning. We're not going to do this whole round because it's too time consuming, but I'll do the first bit of stitches. Okay, so what you do is you drop that orange color and then grab that out and you start doing the magic loop again, and you're using your new color now. I'm using my contrast color. So I would just do 4 stitches and then slip 1 and then knit 2 more and then slip 1. Do you see what I'm slipping? I'm slipping the actual cable part. So when you're knitting, it's easy to recognize if you're on pattern or off pattern, just because it's so darn easy. And then let's look at my stitch marker. So here I am. I'm at the stitch marker, and this is 10 stitches, 3, 6, 9, 10. So I slip my marker. And then the new is 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I slip 1, and then I go 1, 2, and do you see my cable right here? It's on here. Those are the ones that I'm slipping, and then I just knit 1 more, and then I would knit all the way over to where these cables are. Actually, it tells me to knit even further than that because the pattern's changing to a different design. But yeah, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5. And we have, let's see here, 3, 6. We have 3, 6. And then I should slip this one. That makes sense because it's right on the line. And then 2 more. And then a slip. See that right on the thing? And then knit to the end. And that is how easy the colorwork is. So here's what it looks like. Okay, you have stripes going 1 round with your solid color, 1 round with my multicolor. You get a background that looks like this. You get something that's pretty nice and stretchy and oh so soft, and you get the beautiful design. Don't you think it's cool, Jim?
Yeah.
So using slip stitches and 1x1 cables to create this, I don't know, is it kind of not 3-dimensional, but it's like
it is.
three-dimensional shape to it, or a two-dimensional shape to it. And it's beautiful. And so I had never done this before. So if any of you out there have done this, post comments in the comment section and let me know how you liked it. And here it is. I really like this. Now, next time when I do mine, I am going to pick colors that are like black and white, or gray and black. Oh, maybe not gray and black, green and purple, or something like that. So it would look cool. And then this next week, I was thinking, I want to do mittens from this chart. And it has a right and left mitten. Let's see. See? Is that cool? It's actually designed to be knit flat, but I'm going to do it in the round. That's my project for next week. So let's see who the winner was for this lovely yarn that we have. And of course, aha, I found my piece of paper. Oh my goodness. Nancy Claire. Yay! You won some lovely Malabrigo sock yarn. If you haven't tried this yarn before, it's a superwash merino wool, and I don't think there's, is there any nylon in it? Nope, it's 100% superwash merino. Yeah, but it's great. It makes great socks, and I've used it a ton of times, so I'm sure you'll enjoy that. And Nancy, all you have to do is contact us at customer service at Alpaca Direct, and you can get this lovely yarn shipped out to you in the mail. Lovely. And oh, yes. And then for this next week, don't forget, you guys, vote on our Millie Calori baby alpaca single ply merino beautiful yarn from Lang Yarn Company.
Pink or blue?
Pink or blue. Yep. So I hope all of you have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday.